Hi everyone, it's Aaron here from Push Square, and would you believe we now stand at just under 2 weeks away until the PlayStation Vita celebrates its 10th anniversary. I know, it feels just like yesterday that we were saving up all of our pennies for the ability to take Sackboy, Nathan Drake and Kat from Gravity Rush anywhere with us on the go. However, time she's a-movin', and it has in fact been a decade since those halcyon days. To celebrate such a momentous occasion, we recently asked you, the Push Square audience, to rank the best PlayStation Vita games ever, and it's the top 10 specifically that we'll be counting down in this video. Don't forget to check out the full list in the coming days though, live over on the Push Square website. But for now, we've got you covered with PlayStation Vita's very best cream of the crop. Before we begin, just a quick reminder that this list was originally written in part by the lovely Sammy Barker, before being adapted into a video version by me. Anyway, let's not delay any longer. These are the top 10 PlayStation Vita games as voted for by you. Quietly one of the best platformers of modern times, Rayman Legends was originally intended to be a Nintendo Wii U exclusive, but once the fortunes of that particular format came into focus, Ubisoft decided to port it pretty much everywhere. And what a treat it was, particularly for fans of the PlayStation Vita, where its UbiArt engine shined particularly brightly on the handheld format's OLED screen. The touchscreen controls meant that the game lost absolutely none of its intended functionality during the transition either, so this remains one of the better versions of an already highly recommended game. All the way back in 2013, KILLZONE MERCENARY was the game that Sony used to prove it was making console-like investments for the PlayStation Vita. Developed by Guerrilla Games, albeit its since shuttered Cambridge-based satellite office, this was a AAA first-person shooter with staggering production values. Despite offering a full-length campaign, missions were smartly segmented to make them more digestible during portable play. The plot also introduced some interesting elements, as you worked as a gun for hire with little regard for the wider morality of the bloody Hellgun War. With a popular online multiplayer mode and tons of replayability, this was a true shooter on the go come to fruition. Is Sly Cooper the most underrated PlayStation mascot of the PS2 era? Sucker Punch's light-pulled raccoon never quite got the same acclaim as its 6th gen siblings, with Ratchet & Clank and Jak and Daxter taking all of the plaudits. But with its mixture of stealth, platforming and microgames, this series is secretly one of Sony's greatest achievements, and playing all 3 titles from the original PlayStation 2 trilogy on the potty felt fantastic when the Sly Collection finally launched in 2014. In at number 7 we have Persona 4 Dancing All Night, a rhythm-based portable spin-off of Atlus's popular JRPG meets life sim series that may or may not crop up on this list somewhere again later on. Don't be fooled by Dancing All Night's music-based tendencies however, because this flashy sidequel was much better than it had any right to be, featuring the return of popular Persona 4 characters like Yu Narukami, Rise Kuchikawa and more. The game's story mode actually takes place roughly a month after Golden's epilogue, letting you dance your way through a mysterious plot in which the gang must try and prevent a kidnapping. It's flashy, odd, and all the other things we love about Persona. In GUACAMELEE, Drinkbox Studios' deliciously distinctive art style popped on the PlayStation Vita, and heralded an entire era of indie titles that felt just right at home on the handheld. While this Mexican-themed Metroidvania was also originally playable on PlayStation 3, many preferred the versatility that Sony's portable provided. Of course, this was a spectacular title to boot, marrying a magical South American sandbox with a luchador-inspired hero that felt sublime to play from start to finish. The punny portmanteau that makes up the game's name is also pretty great. It's easy to forget this, but at the time, Uncharted Golden Abyss was a mind-boggling technical achievement. By scaling the buccaneering antics of protagonist Nathan Drake down to the PlayStation Vita's vibrant OLED screen, developer Sony Bend dropped its fair share of jewels. While the title wasn't able to live up to the scorching highs of Naughty Dog's console counterparts, this was still a serviceable spin-off that plundered every single one of the portable's flagship features, for better and worse. While we've blocked out its abysmal touchscreen boss battle, we were particularly fond of its gyro aiming, which felt great in the palm of your hands. In an era teeming with microtransactions and online open worlds, Shovel Knight instead chose to go against the grain and dug into a past oft forgotten about with its 8-bit aesthetic and challenging platforming gameplay. This tight, retro adventure turned back time to simpler days and effortlessly captured the spirit of an old-school NES campaign. But there was more to this Yacht Club Games hit than nostalgia. This was a thrilling adventure in its own right, perfectly suited to portable play, and it served as a reminder that sometimes looking backwards for inspiration can be just as thrilling as focusing on the future. Can you dig it? Because we certainly do. Certain Final Fantasy games may come and go, but one duology from the series that will always be in our hearts is Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. And believe us when we say that that's no laughing matter. The world of Spira is simply an amazing location to be in and explore. More so when you consider that you get to share in the adventure with now iconic characters like Wakka and Lulu. Is it any wonder that the first game in particular is often considered one of the best entries in the entire series, second only to maybe Final Fantasy VII in PlayStation terms. Either way, both games look and play great on the PlayStation Vita's beautiful OLED screen, when the HD remaster released in 2014. Honestly, we lost so many hours to Blitzball alone. Damn you, Final Fantasy X! The first Danganronpa game was a murder mystery visual novel that launched on Vita to everyone's surprise. Trying to find the killer within a messed up school setting was simply too much fun, especially when having to follow the direction of a maniacal bear in Monokuma. It's no wonder, then, that the island-set sequel arrived not long after to improve upon the original's twists and turns in almost every way. This time, there was a new group of high school students to try and save, only achievable by entering trials and using the clues available to you to make the right decisions at the right time. There's no other visual novel series quite like Danganronpa, and Goodbye Despair represents the pinnacle. Well, here we are, as if there was a chance of anything else making our number one. Persona 4 Golden is a vast improvement over the 2008 PS2 original, acting as an expanded version with various new features and never before seen storylines that further helped flesh out this world. Are Persona 4 Golden's dungeons a highlight? Of course, but equally as addicting was just living about your daily life as a new student trying to get to grips with a countryside town throughout the course of a year. The visuals may have aged a bit by today's standards, we'll admit, but this still easily earns our top spot on the 10 best PlayStation Vita games, not least because it remains one of the best JRPGs ever made as well. So there you have it guys, in terms of our list for the 10 best PlayStation Vita games of all time. Where did your favourite game rank on this list, if indeed it did make an appearance? Let us know in the comment section below. And feel free to kick off a wider discussion about why PlayStation Vita was the ultimate portable powerhouse that was maybe ahead of its time. Anyway, after you've done that, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to Push Square if you want to stay up to date for everything else PlayStation related. Until next time, thanks as ever for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.